So in today's video, we'll be learning on how to solve algebraic equations. So before I get into the deep dive of algebra, I want to say why it's important. So the reason why algebra is so important is because in engineering, your sciences, your math, your technologies, algebra is important if you don't know a variable but you have the equation for it. If you use algebra, you can solve for that unknown variable, and this applies to so many things in real life, and it's a very important tool that we invented as humans. So with that being said, let's show you how to use algebra. So we have an equation, 4y plus 8 equals 2y. So our final goal is we want the equation to look like y equals whatever. We want it to look like that. The reason why is so we can figure out what y equals. So let's say y represented how many dollars I had. We want to figure out y equals how many dollars. So we're going to solve for y. So we have that 2y on the right side of that equal sign. So what we're going to do is we need those y's to be on one side, and then we need a number on the other side. So to make this easy, instead of doing the 4y, we're going to do the 2y. We're going to subtract both sides by that. So when you subtract both sides by that, 2y minus 2y is going to give you 0. So these are going to cancel out. Then it's going to be 4y minus 2y plus 8. And remember that right side is 0. So 4y minus 2y is like 4 minus 2. So it's going to be 2. But remember, it just has a y in the on the right of it. So it's going to be 2y. We have plus 8 equals 0. So remember, we want y by itself on one side. So we need to subtract both sides by 8. When we do that, 8 minus 8 is going to give you 0. And then we have 0 minus 8. So it's going to be 2y equals 0 minus 8. So then 0 minus 8 is going to give you negative 8. So now we need to get, notice here it doesn't have a number in front, but here we have a number in front. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide both sides by 2 to get rid of that 2. 2 divided by 2 is going to give you 1, which 1 times the number is going to give you that number. So in this case, 1 times y is just going to give you y. So then it's negative 8 divided by 2. So then we just need to express this more and simplify it. Negative 8 divided by 2 is going to give you negative 4. So y is going to equal negative 4. So that's going to be your answer. So to see if we did the algebra right, what we can do is we can substitute every time we see y for negative 4, which was our answer. So when we do that, we get 4, and we get negative 4 for y, plus 8 equals 2 times negative 4. So if the algebra is done correctly, the equation should be true. So we have 4 times negative 4, so that's going to give us negative 16 plus 8 equals 2 times negative 4, which is negative 8. So then we need to simplify that left side. Negative 16 plus 8 is going to give you negative 8 equals negative 8. Negative 8 equals negative 8. That's a true statement. So this indicates that we did our algebra correct. That in this case, to satisfy this whole equation, y has to be negative 4. So for this equation, we have more than one properties. We have multiplication, addition, subtraction. So we're going to do our order of operation, PEMDAS. We're going to do the parentheses first. Whatever's inside of the parentheses, we're going to simplify it. So we're going to carry the 4z minus 2z. I know it doesn't look like a z, it looks more like a 2. I'll try to write that from now on, it's a little better. Then we have 1 plus 4, which is going to give you 5, and then equals 36. So then our parentheses are taken care of. We move to our exponents, but we don't have any exponents. So we move to multiplication and division, which we only have one multiplication, which is that 2z times 5. So we're going to carry that 4z minus 2z. Oh, sorry. Let me correct that z. 4z minus, and then we have 2 times 5, basically. We have 2z times 5, which is going to give you 10z. It's 2 times 5, but with just a z. Then we have equals 36. So far, we haven't did any algebra. We have just been using our order of operations. So then we have 4z minus 10z. It's just basically 4 minus 10, which is going to give you negative 6, and then z equals 36. So we want z by itself, so we got to divide both sides by negative 6. And then negative 6 divided by negative 6 is going to give you 1, so it's going to be z equals 36 divided by negative 6. Then we know 36 divided by negative 6 is going to give you negative 6. So that's going to be your answer. So for this equation, we're going to do PEMDAS again. We have parentheses, but 2 times x is already simplified. So we move to our exponents. We have 2x squared. So we're going to do square that. So you're going to square what's inside of the parentheses because that's what the exponent is for. So it's 2 times, or sorry, it's 2 squared, which is going to give you 4, and then x squared, which is just going to give you x squared. We carry the plus 1 equals negative 3. So now we can move to multiplication and division, which we just distribute that negative sign. So it's basically negative 1 times 4x squared. So we just distribute that negative sign. So it's going to be negative 4x squared plus 1 equals negative 3. So we need x by itself. So we're going to subtract both sides by negative 1. So this is going to give you 0 on the left-hand side. So it's going to be negative 4x and then negative 3 minus 1. So we're going to carry that negative 4x squared, and negative 3 minus 1 is going to give you negative 4. So we need to get rid of that negative 4 that's attached to that x squared, so we're going to divide both sides by negative 4. So then negative 4 divided by negative 4 is going to give you 1, so it's just going to be x squared equals, and then negative 4 divided by negative 4 is going to give you 1. So then what we need to do is we need x. We don't need to know what x squared equals. We need to know what x equals. So in order to do that, we have to use a square root. So we're going to square root both sides. So it's going to be x is equal to plus or minus square root of 1, which the square root of 1 is 1. So it's going to be plus or minus 1. So that's going to be your answer. So for this problem, we have this equation, and we're going to do order of operations. So we have parentheses, but we can't do 11c minus 4. So we move on to exponents. Exponents, we don't have any, so we move to multiplication and division, which we're going to have to multiply the 2 with this and this. So we got to distribute that. 2 times 11c is basically 2 times 11, so it's going to give you 22, and then carry the c. And then minus 2 times 4 is going to give you 8, and then it equals 36. So then we're going to add both sides by 8 because we want to get c by itself. So plus 8. This is going to give you 0. So it's going to be 22c equals 36 plus 8. 36 plus 8 is going to give you 44. So it's going to be 22c equals 44. And we need c by itself. And we have a 22 by c. So we're going to divide both sides by 22. 22 divided by 22 is going to give you 1. So it's going to be c equals 44 divided by 22. 44 divided by 22 is going to give you 2. So it's going to be c equals 2. So that's going to be your answer. So for this problem, we have in parentheses, so 8w minus 4 squared, we can simplify that a little more. We can take care of that squared. So it's 1 over 8, and then times 8w, and then 4 squared is going to give you 16, so it's going to be minus 16 equals 0. So then now we can't simplify 8w minus 16. So move to exponents, but we already dealt with our exponents, so then we move to multiplication. So we have to distribute this 1 over 8. So 1 over 8 times 8w is basically 1 over 8 times 8. So that's going to give you 1, or just w. It's going to be w, and then minus negative 16, or 16 times 1 over 8 is just 16 divided by 8, which that's going to give you 2, and equals 0. So we're going to add both sides by 2. So this is going to give you 0. So it's going to be W equals 2. So that's going to be your answer.